As a man of great intelligence, Nkrumah saw the need for South-South cooperation, a platform for regional integration. He set a political agenda for Africa and wanted the black man by all means to chart his own course. He did not only say it, he pursued the idea with the vigor of a fighter on a mission to create a new development frontier driven by Africans. Here, Nkrumah talks about colonialism and tribalism. I want you to listen attentively to this speech that Nkrumah delivered, where he talked about colonialism and tribalism.
We have shaped a destiny for ourselves, and no one can alter the course of that destiny. It is the destiny of complete freedom for Africa, the total liberation of our continent, and its political and economic unification. We have achieved some measure of success in this struggle for human freedom and dignity. But we still have a great task ahead. We can only know the extent of our task and our own strength when we have examined and ascertained that of the enemy. Who is the enemy? Fellow freedom fighters, the enemy is imperialism. Which uses as its weapons colonialism and neocolonialism. Let us be very, very clear about this. Let us also not lose sight of the real objective, which is the liquidation of colonialism and imperialism in all its forms: political, economic, ideological, and the political unification of Africa, our dear continent. Then we must ask, what is imperialism? And what are the forms it has taken? And what other mask is it likely to put on? Modern imperialism arose when capitalism had achieved both industrial and financial monopoly, and the competition for raw materials and markets had made it imperative for the advanced industrialized countries to expand into the less advanced parts of the world. This phenomenon led to the partition of the world among the great powers. Asia and Africa were divided up among them. Fellow freedom fighters and friends, African nationalist thinking has been adjusting to internationalism within the continent, the development process that must lead to the political unification of the African continent. But the objective of African unity can be seriously undermined by tribalism, which provides one of the happiest hunting grounds for the colonialist and neo-colonialist enemies of African independence and unity. Unless we take this problem of tribalism very carefully in hand, it can undo all our valiant efforts to bring real independence to Africa. We all know the evils of colonialism, but there are some of us who do not appreciate the malevolent possibilities for infinite destruction and even chaos of uncontrolled tribalism, which can make havoc of our hopes and our aspirations. We know that the colonialists are past masters in the policy of divide and rule. They are quick to seize on tribal differences which they discover among us and use this to pit one group against the other. Soon, these superficial differences become exaggerated into serious political factions, which sometimes lead to tragic fratricidal struggles within the same territory. You must guard against it. Guard against it by forging a common united front against the common enemy.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
We are taking you into history, politics, and power. If you listened attentively to that speech, Nkrumah made it clear. That speech was made in the 60s. Look at Africa in 2023. The reason we are reflecting on the past. Are you learning? Are you unlearning? What is Amadi Lawson is saying, the backwardness of Africa is due to the mindset of me, myself, and I, of our so-called rulers, resulting to poverty, poor governance. Let your comments come in. You can also call. Dayo Dada says the speech is truly electrifying. These are leaders, not these ones that are looters, taskmasters, low-grade minds, hypocrites, falsehood propagandists, jokers that don't know about leadership. Dayo, calm down. Okay? Ade Idris Aloma says, thank you, Edmond. Insightful program. Thank you, Idris, for listening. That is why we created the studio, so that we'll create more time for intellectual discourse. And it's lacking in Africa. The African runs away from deep discourse. But it is deep discourse that recreates a country. Yes, entertainment also makes the people happy. But it's in the deep discourse that we move from ideas to evolution, to innovation. That is why this is a class of history, politics, and power. Going down history lane. We've been talking about the first military coup, the Civil War. We are not done with that subject. It's a constant subject. So that this generation, we understand what happened. I still see sometimes in some writings and comments, the Igbo-Yoruba argument, Some call themselves betrayers. No, that's not the perspective I hold. I'm a student of history. I study it keenly. Now, I have nothing against any tribe in Nigeria. But I also understand that leaders have also created that distance among the Nigerian people. The reason we need to study keenly so that we form new opinion to build a new future. We need to rework the state, no doubt.